Hi, everyone. Welcome to Love It, Thank It, Bring It. I'm Diane Forster, and today's topic is Forgiveness is So Freeing. I'm going to give everyone just a couple of seconds to get on. And once you're on, please let me know that you're here. I see Juliet. Hi, Juliet. I see Susan. I see Morgan, I see Brianne. So when you're on, please use the chat box, say hello to me, and let me know your name. Oh, hey, Brianne. And where you're from, and anything you want me to know about the process of forgiveness. And is there anyone or anything that you need to forgive? So keep that chat box alive and going, and I will answer your questions as we go along. So let's get right into it. I want to know, who do you need to forgive? What do you need to let go of? What is it that you're hanging on to that you just can't seem to let go of because for whatever reason it's serving some purpose for you, and what it's actually doing is it's holding you back from living the life that you want to live, the divine life that you want to live, and stopping you from feeling the complete level of love and joy and fulfillment that you want in your life. So if there's something that you need to let me know about, please let me know. So last week we had a great conversation. The topic we picked was you're beautiful and don't ever forget that, because only 4% of women believe that they're beautiful, which is just crazy and insane. And I gave you some processes to bring out your beauty. So I hope that you are using those processes and that they're serving you really well. And if they are, let me know that. Now, this week, I wanted to focus on forgiveness, because forgiveness is so important in our lives, because I believe that first comes love, then comes forgiveness. Not first comes love, then comes marriage. Because forgiveness is really debilitating to us, or the lack of forgiveness is really debilitating to us. And one thing that I read, Greg Braden, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he wrote a book, and it's on disc here that I have. It's The Spontaneous Healing of Belief. And there's a section in there where he talks about that the human body is designed to live to 150 to 180 years old. But what happens is why most lifespans are between 70 and 100 years old is because people literally die of broken hearts, of unhealed wounds that they carry around with them, because it's an organ and it's a muscle, and our cells hold on to things. And it's because we hold on to it that people literally die of broken hearts. Isn't that so sad? It's terrible. So I thought it was really important to take on the topic of forgiveness. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to start with a quote from Martin Luther King, and it is, "We must Oh, okay. Can you see me? Okay. All right. This happened last week, so I'm basically going to start over very, very briefly. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Love It, Thank It, Bring It with Diane Forster. Today's topic is Forgiveness is So Freeing. Thank you for being here. Oh, Juliet, I see your comment. And Vicki, I see yours. Okay, I see Juliet. If you can't see me, but you can hear me, log off and then log back on. That might be what it is. I'm glad Vicki and Morgan can see me, and Brianne can see me too. So, okay. All right. I'm going to keep going. So again, tell me who you are, tell me where you're from, and then what it is you need to forgive. Okay. And then whatever it is that you're holding on to that you can't seem to let go. So I'm going to start with a quote. This is by Martin Luther King Jr. We must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power of love. There is some good in the worst of us and some evil in the best of us. When we discover this, we are less prone to hate our enemies, which is so powerful. I mean, look at our country and all the divisiveness that's going on in politics and with everyone. So forgiveness is so incredibly important. So if you haven't registered for my blog yet, I highly encourage you to do that at ihavetoday.com and go to the tab that says visit my blog. Write that down if you can, because each week when we do this webinar, the blog is going to go along with it. So the blog this week is about Forgiveness is So Freeing, where I'm going to recap what we do here to really hone in on this and bring this home with you and have it ingrained in you. It's in that repetition that we really anchor things, and then they become part of our daily triggers and routines, and that's how we remember things. And when we remember those little things, that's how we build that positive momentum that creates lasting, permanent change. That's what I do with a lot of my processes. So, so please go to my blog at ihavetoday.com and sign up for it. So we've all been hurt before. And we've all hurt someone before. I know that learning to forgive for me was certainly a process. And when we hold on to anger and resentment from a betrayal, it's like a permission slip to stay stuck where we are. And when we talk about what happened, like who did us wrong and how damaging it was for us, it allows others to take pity on us, and we feel validated. And then we feel like we're right and the other person is wrong, and we are getting some benefit from that. It's an ego-based benefit, but we get a benefit from it. But here's the thing about that so-called benefit. It's nothing more than a detriment to ourselves and to our lives. And holding on to it is weighing down on us like a ton of bricks. So until we figure out a way to let that go, we can't truly move on to live our lives completely and fully like we were designed to. So here are some of the effects of holding on to our inability to forgive that have on us. Okay, we bring anger, bitterness, and resentment into every relationship and experience we have because we carry it forward. We spend more time living in our past, being unable to fully enjoy the present moment, which you know this company is all about. I have today and living intentionally in the present moment, and that our lives are meant to be lived right now, not behind us. When we hold on to feelings like that, that manifests into diseases. This is why we get sick. People get sick. You think it's from other things, but it's really with a disconnect within ourselves. And disease is dis-ease of the mind. That's where all disease starts. It starts up here. Yes, we're victim to outside circumstances and, but it's our mindset that determines the outcome of what happens to us physically. And then when we hold on to it, we miss out on the richness and wonderment that our life has to offer. So I know for me, I'm going to share my personal story. When I was going through my personal transformation, forgiveness was something that I wanted to look at immediately because I knew there was so much that I had to forgive. And it began with forgiving myself. we point the finger at other people. We blame them for other things. There's anger, there's resentment. Yes, things happen to us, but we ultimately are hardest on ourselves. I know that in my journey, I blamed myself worse than I blamed him. I definitely took on that. Why would I stay in this relationship? Why would I allow myself to be treated that way? Why didn't I care enough about myself? It's all that dialogue that goes on in our heads, and it starts right here. It starts with us first. So that's where we all need to start, is taking a look at ourselves first. The benefits of forgiveness will affect you on so many levels: emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. It's going to affect us in all four of those areas. And some of the benefits, by allowing ourselves to forgive ourselves and to forgive others, are decreased anger and illnesses, increased hope, spiritual connection, and overall well-being, including living a longer, healthier, happier life. And so what I said before, I'll say it again, because I truly believe that first comes love and then comes forgiveness. So when I was going through my relationship, there was a time in my life where I just felt like I needed to be right. And we do that. We want to be right. And what happens is, what I learned from that is, I was holding on to the pain, and I was the one who was hurting, and it wasn't hurting him. It was hurting me. And so when you're holding on to that, you're not hurting the other person. You're hurting yourself. So that was one of the things that I learned. So let me give you, what I'm going to do is give you the 3 steps that I truly believe, for me, have transformed my life and created permanent, easy forgiveness in my life, where I don't hold on to anything. I literally forgive everyone. I harbor no bad feelings for my ex. I truly care about him. I have truly completely forgiven him. I wish him well. I send him love and light. And I was just as much a part of that, the breakup of that relationship, as he was. And it was just, the events that happened were the result, not the cause. So the first step in it is to follow the 3 levels of forgiveness. So if you haven't gotten my book, I highly recommend that you do. You can get it at Amazon.com, or go to my site again at IHaveToday.com and pick it up there under the products and service page. But I write in the started the Bring It section is the 3 levels of forgiveness. And the whole premise with the book and the process is to live the love it, thank it, bring it way, that process, the I Have Today way. And love it is loving every single thing that shows up in your life. And thank it is showing gratitude for it, because it doesn't matter if it was a positive or a negative, if it was a triumph or a tragedy, it was there to serve you, and that everything that shows up in our lives is serving us in a really good way. Ultimately, even if we can't see it at the time, it's always for our highest, greatest good. And then bring it is that once these events happen to you in your life, how do you move forward with your life? So that's the power part of it. So in that section, I write about the 3 levels of forgiveness, but I'm going to talk about them right here. So the first level is to forgive yourself, like I just talked about, and truly look at yourself and be easy on yourself and let things go. I mean, we're so hard on ourselves, and we beat ourselves up, and we really don't need to. None of us are perfect. I talked about this last week. We're perfectly imperfect, and that is where it ultimately starts. So forgiveness of self is level 1. Level 2 is forgiveness of the other person or the event. And when I say that, I don't mean that you forget about what happened or you let anybody off the hook. Things do happen to us. We do have events that occur in our lives that really are damaging and hurtful at the time. And you need to honor your feelings, for sure, honor your feelings. But come to a place where you just need to let that go and forgive that person. And it doesn't negate what happened. What it does is it releases its chokehold on you. It frees up you and lets you off the hook. And then the third level is to forgive yourself again, because ultimately what happens is things happen to us and we think, oh, I'll forgive it and forget it and let it go. But something will bubble up. Some memory will get triggered. Some experience will happen again, and you'll be reminded of that. And it's time to then forgive yourself again, because it will happen and it will come up again. And don't beat yourself up over it again, because you already lived through the pain once. Why would you want to live through it again, right? How's everybody doing out there? Hey, Juliet, can you see me and hear me now? Are you there? Just checking in with you. Okay. Let me know. So what I mean by this, we must look at people the way God looks at people. Yeah, I see you. I see you now. Thanks. Thanks, Vicki. I appreciate that. What I wrote here is we must look at people the way God looks at them. In his eyes, we're all forgiven. None of us are, we all make mistakes, but they're not really mistakes. They're lessons along the way. And if we view people the way God sees us, or source or spirit or Jesus or whatever it is you believe in, and truly just see, the perfect soul that's there, it makes forgiveness that much easier. Okay, so that is step number one. Step number two, I want you to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this to you in the thank you email. This is part of the I Have Today system, which is my 90 days to find your passion, purpose, and smile finally in 90 days or less. It's the I Forgive You chant. And what I've done is I've done a video recording. It's 5 minutes of me chanting, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you, over and over and over again. And when we chant, I forgive you over and over and over again for at least 5 minutes, if you can do up to 20 minutes, it's even better. What that does is that sends forgiving energy to every one of our trillion cells in our body, which releases it and heals it. And then it also emits that forgiveness out into the universe. And we know whatever we put out there, every thought that was ever thought, every word that was ever uttered lives on in infinite, what's the word? Infinity. I can't think of the word right now. But it lives forever, right? This is an infinite universe. So it all always exists. So you're emitting all that forgiveness out to the world, and it touches the world, and it does come back to us in a really positive way. And I wanted to say one more thing about that. When you're doing this practice, when I do this practice, I did this so much when I was going through my transformation. I started this practice, and all right. And I don't see anything in the chat. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry, people. It's technology. You know what? You gotta love technology, right? Let me continue from where I was. So, what would happen for me? So when I started doing the I Forgive You chant, I would chant, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. And I get on this roll, and then all of a sudden, tears were flooding down my face. I mean, all this emotion was coming up. All this clearing was happening. And it was such a cleansing, cathartic experience. And I would end it, and I would just be sopped with tears. but I would feel so good. I would feel so light. I would feel so free. I feel amazing. So I highly encourage you to get the link on the thank you page. You'll get it within 2 hours of the end of the webinar, to get it and download it and keep it and use that as part of your 3-step process on permanent forgiveness. Okay. All right. And now the third step is a biggie. And I did this in the 30-day challenge. I want you to stop talking about your story and your past. Stop thinking about it. Stop talking about it. Stop telling people what happened to you way back when, what he did, what she did, what they did, whether it's your boss or your mom or your sister or your ex or whoever it is. That is your past. And you don't want to be focused on there. The more you talk about it, the more you keep it alive. And the only one keeping that alive is you. We're the only ones that keep that alive by talking about it. Now, heal from it. Definitely go through the process, whatever the emotional process is of it. If it's anger and it's hurt and all of the emotional processes that happen with a peak emotional experience like that. But then let it go. And here's how you do it. Let me read this to you. We can't change the events that occur in our lives, but we can change our association to the events, thereby changing our emotions attached to it. So I learned this process and it was really powerful. So I've seen, through the training that I do, the NLP training and some of the other training that I do, I have seen women who were molested, I saw a woman who her dad shot her mother right in front of her eyes. I heard so many different stories. These people have been carrying serious stuff around with them all their lives. I saw them change in a matter of minutes by changing their association connected to the event. It switched their emotions around it, and they were able to talk about it and think about it without having any emotional attachment to it. But we have that ability too. It comes down to, and I write about this all the time, choice and decision. Choice and decision. We always have the choice to decide how we want to feel about something. So the third step is to stop talking about it the way you talk about it. We drive a car and we have the big, massive, windshield in front of us, and we have the tiny rear view mirror. Well, that's a metaphor for life. You should be looking ahead at the expansiveness in front of you. And the tiny mirror is only there for you to look back as a reference point. You're not supposed to be looking back there. Your life isn't moving in that direction. It's headed forward. So use it as a reference point, but take whatever the experience was that happened to you then to move your life in the forward, a forward direction. That's the bring it part of love it, thank it, bring it. So don't want to be living there. You want to be looking ahead. And how you do that is you stop telling your story. Okay, I see you guys on here. I'm going to go back to the chat. Is anybody there? If you are, oh, thank you, Brianne. I love that analogy too. Okay, so I want you to, if you're writing this down, write down what I said. That quote was, we can't change the events that occur in our lives, but we can change our association to the events, thereby changing our emotions attached to them. I mean, it was such a huge aha for me. Okay, so when I first started to really work on this, I looked within to where I needed to love myself more, right? Remember, it's never about the other person. It's always about us. Again, if you haven't read my book, learn about the EED process, the emotional energy diffusers, that it's never about us. It's always about what's going on with the other person and our decision and choice to either take it on or not take it on. And that whatever is going on with that person is, it's all about them. And they're just doing the best from where they are at that particular moment. So you need to decide first that you want to forgive you. Then you want to forgive the other person or the events that occurred and come out of it on the other side stronger, more confident, braver, and focus on the life that's in front of you, not behind you, like I just said. Don't focus or linger in the past. Focus on the expansiveness that is ahead of you, because that is what's possible. That is what is exciting. And that is why forgiveness is so freeing. So part of the other thing that I do with I Have Today and in the I Have Today system is I do affirmation statements based on love it, thank it, bring it. Okay. So they're all tied together. So a love it statement would be the first affirmation, which the love it statement for forgiveness is I am forgiving. The thank it statement is I am grateful for my power to forgive. And the bring it statement is I know how freeing it is to forgive. So every day is a new day. Every day you get to start fresh and new. It's in the poem I Have Today. I have today to start fresh and new. We have an opportunity in every single day when we wake up that we get to decide how we want to feel, how we want to live, and what we want our lives to look like. So my advice and encouragement to you is to really take in the process of forgiveness in your life and look at your life and look at where your inability to forgive somebody has held you back. You know, your inability to, not forgive someone in a loving relationship. How is that showing up in your life, either in your current relationship, or if you're looking for love and you don't have love in your life, could that be the reason that's blocking it? You know, look at your relationship with your parents. Is it a healthy relationship? Is there anything you need to forgive there? Listen, every therapist in the world goes to parents first. You know, it's always our mother's fault. It's always our father's fault, right? So there's stuff that we carry around there. But what about that? If there's something that you haven't forgiven your parents for, are you transmitting into your relationship with your kids? So many parents live their lives through their kids, you know, things that they didn't get in their own life. And with that comes, you know, the blaming of a parent. It's not the parent's fault. It's just whatever the circumstances were. And I know for myself, you know, we all have blamed our moms and dads for things. I know that I certainly have, you know. I was young and resented my mom and dad for moving me from New York to California all those years ago, taking me away from a life that I really loved. And I blamed them, but they were just doing what they, you know, what was needed for them and what was in the best interest of them, and in turn in the best interest for me. And I fully love and forgive my parents for anything that ever occurred in my life that they had done, because I know that it was for my own good. So anyway, I just really want you to incorporate these 3 steps. And I promise you, if you start this, if you do the 3 levels of forgiveness, where you're forgiving yourself, you're forgiving the other person, then going back and forgiving yourself, then you do the I forgive you chant, and then you stop telling your story and change it up and make it better, you're gonna be able to forgive all of these events easily and permanently. I promise you. So with that, what I'm going to do is I am going to tell you what my offer is today. What I've decided to do, last week I gave you access to my 30-day challenge, which anybody can get access to. If you don't, if you haven't signed up for my 30-day challenge on how to have a better today, it's great product. Again, you can find that at ihavetoday.com. So go to my site today and look for the book, look for the journal, sign up for the 30-day challenge, sign up for my blogs. But what I want to give you today is I want to give you the offer of a free complimentary 20-minute strategy session with me. All you have to do is click the link schedule here, and you will go straight to my calendar and block off time. And what I do with my clients is I work with them in their personal and professional lives. I'm a business, life, relationship coach and consultant, and I help people figure out what it is their passion is, what is their purpose is, what it is that's blocking them, what it is they need clarity in. And I am extremely results oriented and a powerful manifester, and I use law of attraction and intentional living to help people really catapult their life. And I know for a fact one of my clients is on here, right, Morgan? And we're working together. And thank you for being here, by the way. And it's really making a change in her life. So I want to be able to do that for as many people as possible. So let's start with a strategy session. Let's look at the key areas of your life that you want to change, and you want to be living a life where you truly can have it all, because you can have it all. It's a misnomer to think that you can't. It is entirely possible, and it's easier than you think. It's literally right here. We just need to clear the block away to get to it. So I will leave that offer up. Please click the link there, and please implement these processes. Again, sign up for the blog so you get a written copy. You know what I did today is I basically read you most of what the blog was today, because the blog was so good. And let me know how forgiveness is showing up in your life, how you're implementing these, and what's happening, what the results are. I really, really want you to communicate with me. You sign up for the strategy session so we can talk there, but also follow me on social media. I'm easy to find. I have Today with Diane Forster on YouTube and Facebook, and then Diane, the number 4 and the word STIR on Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest. So with that, I'm going to say farewell, but what I first want to do is let you know, set your calendar every week at Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time for Love It, Thank It, Bring It, because next week our topic is Go First. And this is going to be all about putting yourself first. So thank you for being here. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.